Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is take number 3 because the videos from Instagram that are very informative were playing so slow that I decided to give it one more try. So it will require again your patience, as well as I have so many topics to go through with you today. We will end the video with Russia because that is a doozy. It's a doozy, everyone. Labor migration in Russia, especially to beautiful Moscow and St. Petersburg, and there is one more city mentioned that you will hear about. What's going on? What's going on, everyone? I think the plan is being perfectly executed, and don't make any mistake that Putin is not on it. Chabad Lubavitch approved. The stamp is on it as well. Don't you worry. Everything is very good. Очень хорошо. In between, we're going to look into Ukraine and what's going on in Odessa, what kind of celebrations were there. Again, approved by the Chabad Lubavitch. The stamp is on it. All good to go. But we're going to start with the tragedy in Australia. And why is that? Because it's not even 24 hours, actually much less than that, when people who are on it truly awaken and who can see through the bullshit are connecting the dots like in the speed of a light speed, or how they say, Godspeed. Yeah, Godspeed, everyone. So I think we are one of those, and we are not going to be bullshitted again. We see through the illusion, delusion, confusion without a shadow of a doubt. And yesterday, as you remember who watched my video, you will recall that moment when I said, I don't know much about that tragedy in Australia, in Sydney, that shooting on Bondi Beach, but it's very suspicious. Why it took place? Because, of course, that was during Hanukkah celebration, right? I said, of course, quotation marks. And I said in my video yesterday that they will be blaming this on anti-Semitic movements, which is already happening. Was I a prophet? No. It's just the same plan, the same script. It's so easy, right, to predict, isn't it? It's almost like boring at this point, except people were dead. I don't know exactly how this was ordered, but I said that I have a feeling that Mossad is behind it. Well, oh well, I think we are pretty much on the top of things, but we're gonna look into who was there. Few people had something to say, including Netanyahu, right after commenting what governments should do from this moment on, because he will tell them, again, approved by Chabad Lubavitch. So before we start, I want to say thank you so much to Michelle, who donated on my PayPal. I appreciate your support for my work, for my channel. Those videos, I think I will be trying to, the more informative videos, I think I have to start slowly also, and as well move them to Patreon, because you know who owns this platform? You know who owns this platform, right? And a lot of content creators put more controversial videos on Patreon. So I think I will be doing this as well. But we keep on going on YouTube. Fingers crossed. God is watching, so I think everything will be all right. However, if you are not on my Patreon and you would like to support me there, make sure to join me. You have different tiers. And to those of you who are interested in supporting my work, owning a product that is part of my creation and my creativity and my soul, it's my book for children, book number 1, Matilda's and Odo's Adventure, beautiful story for children, 5 books in total, the series, book number 1. So 4 more to go. All right, everyone, where shall we start? Let's start with a quick recap. Just very briefly, we're going to go through the article, and then we go to 2 very interesting videos. So let me read you this. Let's see what's up and how the numbers are presented and what is the reasoning for the story. So, Australia is reeling from the worst terrorist attack on home soil. Could it have been prevented? This is article from today. With 15 civilians and 1 gunman dead so far, and another 40 people injured. Australia is reeling from its worst act of terrorism on home soil. 2 gunmen opened fire on a Jewish community gathering to celebrate the first night of Hanukkah at Archer Park on Sydney's famous Bondi Beach. Police have confirmed the 2 alleged attackers. Why alleged, really, right? Like, you have videos, you saw them, people recorded them. I mean, do you still have to say alleged? I think this is just ridiculous, but I'm not a lawyer, right? Attackers were father and son, aged 50 and 24. The father, Sajid Akram, who was licensed to own 6 firearms, was shot dead by police. The son, Naveed Akram, remains under police guard in hospital. Let's see how long he will stay there, because I'm sure they will find a way to replace him or remove him. You know, I'm this conspiracy theorist kind of, right? Not really kind of, I am. Police have confirmed that 2 alleged attackers, I read this, given it was clearly an anti-Semitic attack. Okay, so here we have, right in the face, that's what I said yesterday. And I know many of you said it as well in the comments, in the comment section under my video. Given it was clearly an anti-Semitic attack, authorities soon after declared it an act of terrorism, that is an act of politically motivated violence. Okay, alert everyone. This designation also gives authorities extra resources in their response and in bringing those responsible to justice. You see how convenient? How convenient. Let's scroll down to who was the man who stabbed one of those gunmen and pulled the gun away from him. He was injured as well. So he was 43-year-old Muslim fruit shop owner Ahmed Al-Ahmed. It is hoped that this man's bravery, which is showed as the best of humanity in the midst of the worst, will stop any simplistic analysis of blaming the Muslim community for such violence. We have seen this in the United States and Australia must do much better. Okay. So that someone looks like Muslim and maybe is a Muslim, maybe not necessarily is a Muslim, right? Maybe it's something else. I'm just saying. Maybe has been programmed, trained, like Netanyahu said yesterday. He said that, you know, you can brainwash people to that point that any reasoning can be justified to blow up a bus with children, etc., etc. So guys, let's go to the video. If it plays very slowly, please bear with me. I'm trying my best to present to you, you know, some good content, even though not always is the internet collaborating with me. But let's take a look and listen how someone has connected the dots. So one of the men who was on the beach was also injured. Who was this man? Screenplay again.
I'm sure everyone has seen this picture by now of the individual who survived the heinous false flag attack that took place in Bondi Beach, Australia earlier this morning. The individual from the pictures is Arsen Ostrovsky. Ostrovsky is an international human rights attorney and self-proclaimed pro-Zionist advocate. This is where it gets interesting. Ostrovsky, while in served as the CEO of the International Legal Forum. The IL
Like I said, sorry for the delay, but the same guy who was in Israel during October 7th was somehow on the beach in Sydney. And you can see he is actually a lawyer. He is a lawyer. Guys, I'm telling you, the shit show continues, like Erika Kirk said. She's our favorite Mossad agent, isn't she? Of course, favorite in quotation marks. She does not believe in coincidences, so there are no coincidences. Let's play a little bit more of this video. Again, sorry for the delay.
MLF is an based NGO leading a global network of over 4,000 attorneys and activists combating Strangely enough, Arsen Ostrovsky was also in during the October 7th attacks, where he considers himself an October 7th survivor. And coincidentally, he was injured today at the attack that took place at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia during the Hanukkah event, which has been described as an incident. I'm sure everyone has seen this picture by now of the
So that's pretty obvious what they are doing with people. They think we are stupid. But there is one more video that I want to find for you. So the same guy who was in Israel during October 7th was in Sydney. So 4,000 lawyers, guys, 4,000 lawyers, and they are actors as well. Oh, I found the video, fantastic. They are fighting with anti-Semitism. So they are fighting in Israel and they're fighting in Sydney on the Bondi Beach. Let me just find this video. I have another one because this guy is also addressing this. Let me just get it here. One moment. Here we go. Perfect. So let's go to this one. Hopefully this one plays more smoothly, but I'm sure I have very patient audience, so we'll be okay.
History repeats itself over and over. And over. Google it.
I survived October 7th. I lived in Israel the last 13 years. We came here only 2 weeks ago to work with the Jewish community to fight anti-Semitism, to fight this bloodthirsty, ravaging hatred.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. You know, we've lived through worse. We're going to get through this, and we're going to get the bastards that did this.
Please tell me why this man is wearing a United States Marine Corps t-shirt in Australia at a Hanukkah.
So another important aspect here, this guy is wearing United States Marine Corps t-shirt. So what's up with this, everyone? What's up with that t-shirt? Why do you think is that? Let's read some comments. Better question, who takes and uploads a picture of themselves covered in blood during an active shooting and sticks around for an interview? This whole thing reeks of bullshit. Another one says, Kendens warned us. Damn it, his name is Arsen Ostrovsky. So we have actors who are lawyers, it looks like, who fight with anti-Semitism, who somehow survived the shooting, and they are taking selfie of themselves while laying down on the bloody sand of Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. And then Like that post said, very, very intelligent post, very smart, someone said. And then they stick around to make sure that they will be interviewed by whoever is interviewing, right? And they will be the one. Okay. Do I have to say more? So what kind of freaking movie is this, everyone? Who is directing it? Who is doing this? What do you think? Let's go to Netanyahu. Let's hear what he had to say, because he had the response to that attack very quickly with the solutions that he's providing to every government.
On August 17th, about 4 months ago, I sent Prime Minister Albanese of Australia a letter in which I gave him warning that the Australian government's policy was promoting and encouraging anti-Semitism in Australia. I wrote, "Your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It rewards Hamas terrorism. It emboldens those who menace Australian Jews and encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent. It retreats when leaders act. I call upon you to replace weakness with action, appeasement with resolve. Instead, Prime Minister, you replaced weakness with weakness and appeasement with more appeasement. Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia. You did nothing to curb the cancer cells that were growing inside your country. You took no action. You let the disease spread. And the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today. We saw an action of a brave man, turns out a Muslim brave man, and I salute him, that stopped one of these terrorists from killing innocent Jews. But it requires the action of your government, which you're not taking. And you have to, because history will not forgive hesitation and weakness. It will honor action and strength. That's what Israel expects of each of your governments in the West and elsewhere, because the disease spreads and it will consume you as well. But we are worrying right now about our people, our safety, and we do not remain silent.
So clearly, that was a warning to every country that stands with Palestine, that is pro-Palestine. That was a warning. And actually, someone even said here in the comments, oh, he gave them a warning. What a coincidence. And someone else said, why was his son chilling with Erika Kirk in 2019? Well, we saw the picture. So guys, pretty obvious, don't you think? What's up? I don't remember what countries were standing with Palestine and what countries were against Israel. So you're very welcome to put the list down below in the comments section, because this was a warning. So we might expect to see something of similar nature in those countries that didn't support Israel, because they have to. They are absolutely obligated to do it. Now, where shall I take you? I should take you to Ukraine, right? Because this is on the same note. Let's take a look. I was presenting to you the menorah that was already there, but now we have the very special moment of, let me find it, of the celebration. Let me mute myself in a second. Here is the video. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play it in a moment. Here we go.
ברוך אתה אדינוי אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר חנוכה. אמן. ברוך.
So let's see what I believe Ukrainians think about it. Well, first here today in Kemivtsi on the theater square traditionally lit the main Hanukkah, and what people say. While we are fighting with Moscows, Ukraine is little occupied by Jews. Why does this happen? Почему? This is their symbol of victory. They defeated the Ukrainians. Congratulations. Those are comments from Ukrainians, but there is one more very interesting video, guys, with the same menorah. What is next to it? You know, the numbers and the symbols are very important, especially to them. And, you know, Chabad Lubavitch, it's them. So let me find this video. Here we go. You don't need the sound. You just need to take a look at what's right here. Do you see this? Okay. First, you see this black pyramid right next to menorah. This is in Odessa. And the comments, and people are silent and close their eyes. We will celebrate Ramadan in the same way all of Ukraine, someone is asking. There are no words to say. There are no words to say. And someone says the same price in Kharkiv, so not only Odessa. So that's what's up in Ukraine, everyone. But actually, we're gonna stay a little bit longer in Ukraine, because now we're going into how the ethnicity is changing, how the countries are changing, how the people are migrating. You know, in Europe, we had a lot of engineers and doctors and so-called experts that all of them, of course, are, that have different colors of the skin than normally the people in the countries have. This is not about racism, because there's nothing about the skin color, but it's about what kind of crimes have been performed in the countries in Europe, as well as in the UK. We all know, I don't have to talk about it. So we had the so-called engineers and we had the so-called doctors, the specialists. And we were looking to Russia, because Russia is getting specialists as well from one country. Very interesting, very, very interesting. But before, how situation in Ukraine really looks like as far as the demographic goes, because I'm just going to remind you, Khazaria 2.0, new Great Israel project is all in the making, and this is part of it, okay? This is absolutely part of it. It's one of the most important parts of it. You have to remove certain group of people to replace them with another group of people. And then you rule it. Simple as that. So let's take a listen how bad things really are.
A ratio of 3 to 1 is what troubles demographic experts in Ukraine. 3 deaths for every birth, according to current population data, rising to 11 deaths per birth, closer to the front line. Average male life expectancy has fallen to 57, and the population is expected to decrease by 40% by 2050.
It's not nice, but it was not nice even before the war. Birth rates are going down, mortality rates are going up. It means that there are not enough people in reproductive age to give birth to new generations of Ukrainians, at least in Ukraine.
To test the statistics, we visited the maternity hospital of a typical large town west of Kyiv called Zhytomyr. They registered at least 1 birth while we were there. a moment that screamed life forcefully down the corridors, but not enough to defy the data.
The amount of births we had before the war was significantly higher than now, because this year we only had around 2,000 births, and before it was around 3,500.
A trend made worse by factors like migration, economic corruption and job uncertainty that together mean more than 6 million, mostly young people, live abroad, with fewer happy couples left at home. And that's reflected in school numbers. We found classes full and children eager to learn, but it's a picture that again belies the data.
There is no country in the world now where there are not Ukrainian children present. Australia, England, America, and of course, European countries.
One route to Ukraine's population salvation may lie in peace and the eventual return of those who've left to help an aging workforce rebuild. But no one expects things to go back to the way they were. In pretty much every village and every town, there's a cemetery that looks like this. Fresh flowers, fresh war graves, fresh young faces. The building blocks of a society lost, its population now firmly in reverse. Some hard facts cannot be changed. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, Zhytomyr.
So you might say, you know, those were Ukrainians, they don't count and this and that. I want to say a few things. I want to say that as those men are being sacrificed, so are the Russian men being sacrificed because they are also dying. That is also part of the plan. How cruel is this? I think if you don't see it by now, you might never see the truth really, because you will be still under this illusion that this is the fight with this or that or this or that. No, this is part of a plan. Europe must be destroyed. The West must collapse, which ultimately that's what they want. And then you have the new great Israel. They already are moving there, as well as there are other people moving to Russia. So what's up with Russia, everyone? Let's first look at this video. Let me see which one I have for you. We're gonna look into an older video first. That explains the situation, because as you know, a lot of Russian men are dying and the demographic in Russia is also changing. Meanwhile, Putin went to India very recently to sign the deal, especially on bringing the migrants from India, over 1 million, I don't know if it's 1.2, 1.5, to Russia. But this has been going on already, the migration is there already, and I'm going to show you the videos from Moscow. But first, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this older video, about 4 months old, that was informing us in advance what is the plan about that deal, that agreement between India and Russia, the labor force, they call it. I don't care how they call it. Is very, very sad because the Russian men are dying and now you have the experts coming from India.
A big geopolitical and economic story developing at the intersection of Moscow's labor crisis and New Delhi's booming workforce. Russia's largest bank, Sberbank, is now openly pushing to boost labor migration from India, just as President Vladimir Putin lands in New Delhi for his first visit in 4 years. And this move could reshape trade, labor flows, and Russia's sanctions-era survival strategy. Speaking to Reuters, the first deputy CEO of Sberbank confirmed the bank is now actively helping Russian companies import more Indian goods and more Indian workers. He says this is no longer a one-way trade dependent on India buying Russian oil. Instead, the Kremlin wants Indian machine building, pharma, and IT products flowing in, and Indian skilled workers filling a widening gap in Russia's labor market. Russia today faces record-low unemployment and a projected shortfall of 3 million workers by 2030. And the Sberbank official says that there is demand for Indian workers. This is a skilled workforce, and we are helping companies bring them in. From construction and manufacturing to IT and engineering, Russian firms are requesting Indian labor to keep factories running amid wartime mobilization and population decline. Behind this push lies a second mega shift, and that's payments in national currencies. Almost all payments from Russia to Indian companies are now happening directly in rupees and rubles, bypassing the US dollar and avoiding sanctions exposure. But with offices in New Delhi and Mumbai, and even an IT hub in Bengaluru. Sberbank says rupee account openings at its India branch have risen 3.5 times in 2025. And now, Russia's central bank has opened a brand new office in Mumbai, signaling a long-term commitment to de-dollarize trade. Bilateral trade already stands near $70 billion, but heavily tilted in Russia's favor because of India's energy purchases. Moscow wants to push this to $100 billion, and Sberbank is onboarding 6,000 Indian firms that have never traded with Russia before. The bank is offering deferred payment systems, direct settlement tools, and trade matchmaking, all to diversify beyond oil. Putin's high-stakes visit comes as Washington pressures India to reduce its dependence on Russian energy. But Moscow is doubling down not just on trade, but on workforce integration. Indian labor migration could become a new pillar of the relationship, one reminiscent of old Cold War-era ties, when India exported everything from tea and textiles to industrial goods to the USSR. So what does this all mean? Well, Russia gets the workers it desperately needs, and India gets expanded market access, new jobs abroad, and a strengthened hand in global diplomacy. We will continue to track this story, but do let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
So isn't it ironic, or tragic rather, that Russia needs a working force because the men of that age group that are the working force, that are fathers, just married, young men, men in full power, full strength, they are dying or they are sent to fight. Are those Indian migration workers are also going to be conscripted? Do you see this? I mean, what's difference really? And are you telling me that 1 million, over 1 million, 1.2 or 1.5 million, but let's say 1 million, 1 million labor workers, they are all top-notch professionals? Maybe it's truly remarkable to see through this, to see the bigger picture. Because if you don't see it now, like I said before, you might never be able to see it. Let me find the video. Actually, I have a number of videos. So how those labor migrants are already doing in Russia. And there will be one more video I will play for you as far as migration from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, you know, all those stans that were mainly migrating to Russia. Let me mute myself, guys. I mean, this is just from November. So before Putin went to India, the last visit, and agreed on that over 1 million migrants from India. So this is from the Red Square. And let me mute myself because you need the sound for that. This is just very nice, very cheerful video. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, they are celebrating, but what the comments say, someone says, soon the Moscow River will be the Ganga River. Anyway, guys, so this is just very cheerful, happy video. They arrived and they are happy, nothing wrong with that. But let me see if I can play this one for you. This will be from Moscow again. If I have it here ready. And truly, thank you so much for your patience today, because I have so many windows open again. Let's see. I just have to find it because I had so many videos for you today. Let me find it. Okay, we're gonna play this guy. I'm going to translate for you what he said, but first I will mute myself so you can hear original language, and then I will be playing him again. So just bear with me today. Thank you so much, guys, for your patience. I know it's not very professional, but I'm trying my best to bring you some content that has a value. So just one moment.
Мигранты уехали. Таджики уехали, узбеки уехали, кыргызы уехали.
So he's saying that people from Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, they left.
Так а к нам, смотрите, кто приехали.
Now look who has arrived. This is in Russian.
Окей. Окей. В Африке эскалаторов нет. Ладно.
Okay. In Africa, he's being sarcastic. In Africa, there are no escalators. Ladna, which means like, all right. Let's continue.
Приехали, ассимилируются, надеюсь, научатся. А так...
He said they arrived, they are assimilating themselves, they will learn.
А вот этот вот, если, что вы после него сделаете? Может, опять скажете, узбеки, таджики виноваты в этом?
And here he said, and what about this? And I know I don't understand everything he says, but I understand a lot. He said, what about this? And he says, so are you going to tell me that Tajiks, so Tajikistan, men from Tajikistan or Uzbekistan are the ones to blame for it? So the situation looks like right now in this moment, there is more and more people coming to Russia from India and from other countries in Africa as well. At first, I remember that the migration was big, like he said, from Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and all those other stans, right? Now you have this. So let's just look at the picture before we close this video. Let's just look at the picture. So the ethnic men, so the ethnic Russian men who are there, are being put in the uniforms, sent to fight. The same in Ukraine. Meanwhile, you are bringing huge numbers of workers from completely different culture, from completely different traditions, and you are mixing them with Russian women. What is going to come out of it? What country is going to how the country is going to look like after this blending takes place. And who came up with this idea? Whose plan was it to create this absolute mixing pot all around the world? Just think about it. I'm trying to find one more video, but I don't think I have it. A lot of people who are watching me from Russia, if there are still any, because since I started to look at Putin completely differently, because, well, this is not even real Putin, so, you know, that's another story. But things are not as they are being presented to you guys, not by the Western media and not by the official Russian media. Well, maybe the Jewish media of Chabad Lubavitch will present the most accurate and truthful story to everyone. But, you know, they tell you things. People are just not listening to it. So leave the comments down below. Let me know how lovely this looks like. Imagine 3 cities they are going to send, mainly to those 3 cities, they are mainly going to send those labor migration, that will be Moscow, St. Petersburg, and I think Yekaterinburg. I'm not sure if this is the city or one more city, but I'm pretty certain, I'm pretty sure that majority of those people will go to Moscow, because Moscow is the most beautiful, incredible, organized, St. Petersburg as well, but Moscow is really one of a kind. So I think more than 50% of them will end up in Moscow, probably. So let's say you have 500,000 people coming to Moscow, to the squares, to the parks, to beautiful shops and restaurants, and less Russian men, unless they are Jewish men, so they should be okay. And unless they are Jewish men and they work for the government, then they should be absolutely okay. That's all I have for you today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I will attach the links down below in the description box. Huge thank you for your patience today, bearing with me throughout this challenging, slowing down videos. But I still hope you appreciate the content. And if you do, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, or check your subscription, because, you know, sometimes you are unsubscribed unwillingly without your knowing. And if you choose to support my work, the best way is to donate on PayPal or join my Patreon, that is monthly support, locals as well, where you can just purchase one of my books. This is book number 1 for children, Matilda's and Odo's Adventures. I am sure children will enjoy it. Just a glimpse of the illustration here. And the links, information about it is again in the description box down below this video. So that's it for today, guys. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.